Hey everyone, this is Stelly FD with Closeout, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you the secret on how to convince your sales team that's been traditionally selling on-premise and licensing software to switch and focus and fully embrace SaaS software. So I'm at a conference today and I had 3 different founder CEOs approach me asking me the exact same question. Now, 2 of them were founder CEOs. One of them was actually a high executive at a massive corporation, but all 3 had the same question. They said, Stelly, we have a very successful software business. It's purely license-based, on-premise based, so people buy the software, they install it on their servers, and we have this new SaaS offering, or we're switching to a SaaS offering, and we want to convince our salespeople to switch over and focus on SaaS sales, but we're having a little bit of a tough time with that. And what would you advise us to do? So I thought this might be useful to you guys as well. So here's my general thoughts and advice on this. Number one, well, first let's talk about why are these salespeople hesitant to fully embrace SaaS sales. There is a number of reasons. Well, number one, if they are successful and they're good at what they do, they have something they have invested in, something they're good at, something they're committed to and dedicated to. And whenever you have somebody that has been doing something for a really long time, they don't want to change. Change is hard, change is painful, and change is risky. So that's number one. Number two, if you ever worked in any company or with any group of people, you know that once in a while they get all excited about new trends, and then a year or two after everybody invested a ton of resources into this new flashy, funny, fancy, cool thing, the company realized that it's not quite working as well as we thought. So people are skeptical, they're cynical even, especially salespeople, when the management team wants them to do something totally different that's not proven yet. There is going to be a good amount of cynicism around that and skepticism around that. And third, and most importantly, it's probably less money. Let's just be honest. You know, selling a 1, 2, 3, 5-year on-premise license deal is usually going to be a huge chunk of money up front versus selling somebody a monthly subscription. That money, it might equate to the same amount over the same amount of period of time, but because cash flow is much smaller, commissions might be a lot smaller up front as well. And salespeople are kind of interested in money as well for their work. So they might not want to do SaaS sales because they think it's going to pay less, right? So what do you do to combat these things? Number one, you need to sell them on why SaaS sales and SaaS software is going to be the future, not just of this business, but most software businesses. If you fail to sell them on this idea, they won't be able to sell your software. They need to be sold in order to sell successfully. It's your job to sell them. You can't just tell them, you have to sell them. You have to manage their objections. You have to negotiate with them until you've closed them and they're fully committed and fully sold on the idea that learning how to do SaaS sales and focusing on SaaS sales is not just going to be good for me in this company in the midterm or short term. It's going to be the best move for me for my long-term career, no matter where I go in software sales. So you need to sell them on this idea. But selling and talking is cheap. Acting is a much more powerful thing to do. So what you need to do in management, if you're the founder, CEO, or even if you're a VP, whoever you are in the leadership group, you need to demonstrate. You know, a lot of times it's funny. The company says, we need to do more SaaS sales. Let's tell the salespeople to do more SaaS sales. And then when the salespeople look up to the leadership and management team, what do they see? They see the leadership and management team exclusively spending time with the largest on-premise licensing software customers. That won't work. You can't be incongruent in this. You can't tell us to do X while you're doing Y and focusing on Y. You need to lead from the front. You need to demonstrate the behavior that you wish to see from others. So how about you as the founder CEO, setting up shop in the sales room and doing SaaS sales for a month or 2 yourself? How about that? How about you spending only and exclusively time helping your salespeople on SaaS deals versus licensing deals? How about you demonstrating the type of behavior you want to see from them versus just wishing them to change while you stay the same? It's one of the biggest problems I see when teams want to change, or the leadership wants the team to change, is the leadership isn't leading from the front, demonstrating the change, being the change they want to see in others. You got to do that, or don't even bother to ask anybody to do it. The next thing is, and this is maybe not so popular, but sometimes it's the only way to do it, is if you have a team, especially one that's very experienced, that's been around for a really, really long time, sometimes it's harder to change their old habits, to change the way they think, they act, they operate, than to build a new team, to bring in some fresh blood, some people that are new and excited, maybe some people that have a few years of experience in SaaS sales and are knowledgeable and committed to that model of selling. Maybe you're going to bring in a few new people and work with them to demonstrate to the other team what is possible. Because if the licensing and on-premise old school software sales team doesn't believe this is a good idea and you force them to do it, they might prove you wrong, right? They might show you how bad the SaaS sales thing is going just because they don't want to do it. But if you bring in new blood, fresh people that are excited about that, maybe they will show the other team what's possible. At least they're going to set the standard. So sometimes if you can't convince a group of salespeople to do something, you bring in and build a new sales team around that initiative. And then some of the old guys and gals will join that team, and maybe you'll have to part ways if this is a really crucial thing with some people. Sometimes it's just not working out anymore. You're not committed. You don't have to be committed for life if both parties are not happy and it's not a good fit anymore. So you need to consider the possibility that you need to bring in some new, fresh blood, some people that are committed to SaaS sales, to demonstrate to the other salespeople how to do it well, how to be successful with it, how to think about it, how to utilize it, and how to ultimately accomplish all their goals that way, just like they did previously with the other sales model and the other software model of sales. All right, I hope that was useful. I'm very curious to hear about companies that have successfully made that transition. Do you know one, or are you one that went from old school software sales to SaaS sales? What was that transition like? How was it? What was good? What was bad? What were the things you learned? You can share that in the comments, or more privately if you want, just directly to me. Send me an email, stelly@close.io. And make sure to go to blog.close.io and subscribe to our blog 2 to 3 times a week. Highly technical and actionable advice on how to do sales within the startup and small business and medium-sized business ecosystem. All right, that's it for me. I'll see you very soon.